God is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth, and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind, and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet.
Amazing.
Like the proletarian, tolerates conditions because he has nothing with which to compare his way of life. Efficiency, even military efficiency, is no longer needed. Nothing is efficient except the thought police.
The swine, the filthy swine.
Big brother.
If the shutdown lasts over 41 days, Trump can make permanent all the cuts he wanted to make with Doge. And the Democrats can't do anything about it.
You know what that card is? You guys know what this represents? Release the calm before the storm.
What's the storming?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm is
We have the world's great military people in this room, I will tell you that. And we're going to have a great evening. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Well, the weekend's upon us. The benefits will dry up soon for the deep state, for the illegals, for those milking the system and stealing from hardworking taxpayers for so long. While this is happening, Trump asked the Republicans to play the Trump card. Can you believe it? Can you believe where we're at today? Red October's about to be completely done, and now we're going into November. Wow, just another amazing day. Let's get into it. Folks, we reached 500,000 followers on Rumble. Thank you so much for all those that shared our videos, hit those like buttons and more. And we're just grateful for them for keeping us alive since actually 2020 when they took us down off of YouTube. So big supporters of Rumble, and I know that they appreciate us also. Wanted to also remind you that we have our embroidered collection on our shop.amweknow.com. Make Heaven Crowded, Jesus Saves, and John 14:27. You'll also notice we have the Follow Me, and I'll Make You Fishers of Men, Matthew 4:19 there in different colors. Again, it's in the description box below. Hope you guys would check it out.
I want to start by really thanking the professionals, the air traffic controllers, folks at the TSA, also the FAA, the people in management. They're working hard. They are keeping the skies safe. They've minimized delays. Fewer than 2% of flights have been delayed so far because of air traffic control shortages. So they've done a great job. But it's putting stress on people. It's not fair to those people. It's also putting stress on the economy. You know, the first couple of weeks, this had no impact on the economy. But as every day goes by, the impacts start to grow. And airlines are a pretty good real-time indicator of the economy. And we start to see still minor, but steep booking impact. And you see that happening in the economy. We put the whole economy at risk. And so it's been 30 days. And while I don't have a position on which partisan side and how things should be settled with healthcare, it has been 30 days. I also think it is time to pass a clean CR. Use that as the opportunity to get into a room behind closed doors and negotiate hard on the real and substantive issues that the American people want our politicians on both sides of the aisle to solve. But let's get a clean CR and get that negotiation done behind closed doors without the pressure and without putting the American workers and the American economy at risk.
So there we go. United Airlines CEO saying, let's sit. We've had enough. Somebody please help. Well, all this has been playing out. You know that President Trump was out there meeting with China, South Korea, Japan, Malaysia. Of course, he's back now. We're going to show you some clips of that where he's handing out candy to the kids. And just a reminder of all the things that are playing out. And he had this to say.
Ukraine came up very strongly. We talked about it for a long time. And
Ukraine came up in the China meeting.
we're both going to work together to see if we can get something done.
And we're going to work together to come up with something.
We agree the sides are, locked in and fighting, and sometimes you have to let them fight, I guess. Crazy. But he's going to help us, and we're going to work together on Ukraine. There's not a lot more we can do. He's been buying oil from Russia for a long time. It takes care of a big part of China. And
been buying oil for a long time in Russia. It's taking care of China.
I can say India's been very good on that front, but we didn't really discuss the oil. We
didn't discuss the oil. In case you guys can't hear it, I'm just trying to tell everybody what he's saying.
Working together to see if we could get that war finished.
Working together to see if we can get that war finished. Working with China, talking about Russia and oil and China, all in the same thought.
It doesn't affect China. It doesn't affect us. And I'd like to see it done on the basis. I don't like to see 6, 7, 8,000 young people, mostly young people, for the most part soldiers, be killed.
Don't want to see people get killed. Kimberly Auer said Ukraine was a deep state cabal, New World Order stronghold. We know that. I think many things were done, created, farmed there. Think biolabs, all kinds, baby farms, dollars stashed, etc. Also think that Zelensky has been helping the president for a long time. Think perfect phone call. Ukraine is them, the deep state. And so we have the reminder from the Q board where it says this: what if China, Russia, and others are coordinating with President of the United States to eliminate the New World Order? And of course, we were told to replace new with Nazi, the Nazi world order. Remember, wealth over generations buys power. Power over generations buys more wealth control. More wealth control buys countries and its people. Families are combined. Puppets in the shadows, strings cut. What is the New World Order? Why did POTUS receive a sword dance when visiting Saudi Arabia? What does this man mean culturally? So many combinations of things going on behind the scenes. Wish we could see it all. But we're being told, going around mainstream media, how this is all playing out. Let's listen to some more on China. Here we go.
Well, Maria, all the congratulations should go to President Trump. He has a fine relationship with President Xi. The mood in the room was one of great respect, but also between two men who knew each other quite well and knew what they were getting into. I think what was very helpful for today's meeting was my counterpart, the Vice Premier, Huli Feng, and I had 2 days of very tough and fulsome negotiations in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, earlier in the week. So President Xi walked in the room and said, I think we can agree on the consensus reached in Malaysia. And so the two leaders were able to discuss more bigger picture ideas during the conversation, including what the remainder of President Trump's term would look like, because I think the Chinese realize that with President Trump in office, it is an opportunity to reset the relationship in terms of mutual respect. President Trump is commanding respect around the world like no other leader.
No other leader. Impact on the entire world. More of this playing out day by day. President Trump going into that meeting say the G2 will be convening shortly. The G2? Wow. He posted that at 9:08 p.m. Ripcord caught this. If you go to post 691 dated February 7th at 9:08 p.m., an exact timestamp match. And on, this has to mean China did this with us somehow. Q wouldn't live stream it without some kind of permission. People asked for arrests. Give one example. Just because you can't see doesn't mean it's not ongoing. trust the plan. Arrests? You guys think there's arrests going on? Well, we've been seeing some weird things going on. I'm going to get to those in a moment. And let me just give you a teaser for now. Black Lives Matter and its founders, Patrisse Cullors and Alicia Garza, are under federal investigation for defrauding donors out of $90 million. $90 million. Oh, man, we got some more on that coming up in a moment. I'm going to share that with you. But, man, behind the scenes, folks, there's a lot going on.
Possibly as soon as next week. And Maria, one of the big parts of this agreement, and I'm going to break the news here on your story, is the massive amount of agriculture purchases that the Chinese are going to be doing in this agreement. So the Chinese have agreed to buy 12 million metric tons of soybeans during this season, right now, between now and the should be January. And then for the next 3 years, they're going to be buying a minimum of 25 million metric tons per annum for the next 3 years. What I would expect is, as President Trump did in 2020, after President Xi had agreed to the phase 1 deal, he called him regularly and got him to buy more, and that number went up much higher.
Pretty good. Amazing deals happening behind the scenes. Guys, remember what we've been looking at so far. Border wall being completed. Tariffs reducing our debt could lead to our IRS going away. Oh, that'd be wonderful. Peace in the Middle East. Men out of women's sports. Illegals being deported. Water free of fluoride. Chemtrail free skies. Old guard dismantling. Well, we hope the chemtrails will go away. I mean, they're appearing back again in some places. Whew. Drug dealers eliminated. Dyes removed from our food. Woke being removed. Corruption being caught. Mainstream media being sued and losing. Mainstream media booted from the Pentagon. Oh, that was a big one. You guys remember that one? All of those guys packing up and walking out. What a great thing. Children being found. Yeah. And we have a little more than 3 years to go. Big stuff going on. I got a lot more to cover on Snap and some other things that were caught by many people. Stand by.
You know, we had a great interview the other day for these Wave watches. The power of frequency. I've learned so much about it. And I wanted to let you know, it's in the description box below, the Wave watch. Improve your health with sound frequencies. And I couldn't believe it at first, but it's actually been working. Here's a soundbite from Linda Bamber Olson, Wave Watch inventor.
Because we're not doing that. We went more the direction of pills. And so that's why people have a little harder time realizing that their body can absorb frequencies through their skin and their bones. They don't have to hear it. So that was so important for me to be able to do that, because I'm a deaf person. I'm completely deaf in one ear, and I've had trouble with hearing my whole life. And so I wanted a tool that I could use, you know, that I didn't have to hear.
Oh, wow. Wow. I know a lot. Yeah, so many folks. You know, I met her on the cruise, and I tell you what, we had several folks that had the watch on, and we were testing them out. My back started feeling much better. My best friend actually put it on, had a hard time bowling. His left knee was in a lot of pain. And next thing you know, he was bowling. He bowled 4 games. He said, I could go 10 more. He couldn't even believe it. He normally wraps his everything up. He wraps his hand up and more. And he's like, what's going on? This thing is absolutely amazing. They have them in special colors like rose gold, also graphite. They improve your sleep, reduce stress, fight pain. They boost energy. And they are beautiful watches also. So when you use them, you can change to so many different frequencies for your brain health, for your pain, for sleep, and so much more. I encourage you to go check it out, folks, in the description box below. Go check it out. You will be absolutely amazed and reclaim your peace.
Okay. Now, we always know that Trump plays chess while the Democrats play checkers. Now, if the shutdown lasts over 41 days, Trump can make permanent all the cuts he wanted to make with Doge. And the Democrats can't do anything about it. Yeah.
Good point. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder if all these guys have been held hostage and told you got to keep this thing closed, make it look like the Democrats are bad because we need to get to that 42nd day mark. Who knows? We'll see. But in the meantime, more exposure to all of the folks out there that are paying attention. One of those here, Chuck Schumer, faces another stunning blow as Delta Airlines demands Senate Democrats pass Republicans' clean CR to reopen the federal government, pay TSA and air traffic controllers. Delta Airlines implores Congress to immediately pass a clean, continuing resolution to reopen the government so that our air traffic controllers, TSA, and CBP officers charged with the safety and efficiency of our national airspace can collect the paychecks they deserve. I don't know, guys. But when I see the TSA, I just wish that they would go under, I don't know, more of a private company controlled type of thing, and they wouldn't, I don't know, just clean that up a little bit. I better not go there. Missed paychecks only increase the stress on these essential workers, many of whom are already making mandatory overtime to keep our skies safe and secure. Guys, I have nothing against TSA, like per se overall, because I'll tell you, I ran into one of my friends from the Marine Corps. We both retired from the Corps. He was in the San Diego airport. It was about a year ago, 2 years ago. And I just so happened to see him, and he was making everybody move quick. And he was like, put your bags, do this, do that. And I said, man, he sounds familiar. I looked at him and said, hey. And we both shook hands and said, you remember? It's like, it's been so many years. It'd been like 20 years since we saw each other. And he was doing a great job. He was taking over, making things move quick, and doing it in a Marine Corps orderly fashion. I just loved it. Anyway, moving on to this part here on the SNAP benefits.
Let me give you some facts about these SNAP benefits because it's time to say the quiet part out loud. It's called the Single Issue Funding Bill. Please listen. I just want to give you some facts based in constitutional law. President Trump is not in charge of funding food stamps, and President Trump is not responsible for cutting food stamps. There is a law called the Anti-Deficiency Act, and this prevents the president from funding USDA or SNAP benefits beyond November 1st. This can be as simple as the House Democrats sending over a single issue funding bill. Let me say this one more time for the people in the back. Single issue funding bill. That's it. That's all. The Democrats can submit one single funding bill. The Republicans have submitted a bill 12 times to have SNAP benefits continued. Democrats shot it down every single time. The Democrats are playing in your face, and they're playing with your emotions and trying to make this about President Trump, and it has nothing to do with him. Single issue funding bill.
Single issue funding bill. Don't you like it, guys, when folks get on there and they say, I'm going to record myself real quick and get this out to the public? I mean, we keep learning more and more every day. Would have never known about this if President Trump didn't win, and the Republicans weren't finally doing what they're supposed to be doing, taking care of us. They're not doing it at all. I mean, they're still acting up. Got a few to clean up after this, but you know. Gene Robinson said, I just stitched a series of videos together. People actually complaining that they're losing their free food, free heat, free rent, and free life, all paid for by you. And I'm not going to play all the clips. We've seen a lot of them. They built a lifestyle on the backs of taxpayers who woke up before dawn, work 40, 60, 80 hours a week, and still struggle to make ends meet, all while funding the laziness of those who refuse to work at all. They've turned dependency into a birthright and entitlement into identity. And now they're mad the gravy train is slowing down. If that doesn't make your blood boil, nothing will. Really amazing, folks, because I look back on time. Many of you listening to this show have done the same thing, right? How many of you, when things were getting rough when we were younger, you know, I remember doing this. I said, when I first got married, I'm going to work a second job So I worked at nighttime as a corporal. I worked at night at a telephone place where you make overseas calls, and I get paid, I forgot, like $10 an hour. I don't know what it was. But I did it for a year to save enough money to fly my wife and I overseas. And we saved up every penny. We didn't have credit cards back then. We used a checkbook. And, you remember we used to buy tickets and they get printed and you take them with you to the airport, that kind of thing. Then things got tough when we moved to New Jersey, and I was on the recruiting duty side. My wife had to get a job as a waitress at nighttime to just make ends meet and be able to save up for the future. And it's just the way we did things. We didn't go and ask for help from the government until we had children. And she realized on base they had a women's infant and children program. So we got, some cereal and milk and cheese and stuff like that. It was actually a relief to get some of that support back then. But anyway, just letting you know how many of you guys out there didn't just say, we're going to go completely. I was like, what if I would have said, I'm getting out of the Marine Corps, man. I found out I can get all these benefits. I don't need to work anymore. And we're just going to chill the rest of our life. That's what happened with a lot of these folks. So we're going to listen to this. Truth about SNAP shut down Obamacare and Democrats.
Okay, these Democrats are playing games with people's SNAP benefits, and people need to understand when it comes to them trying to leverage this food crisis to get the subsidies for Obamacare taken care of. I want everyone to understand, especially Democrats and especially young Democrats who don't recall, when this stuff passed, that they always lied to you. They've always been dishonest about Obamacare. And you don't have to take my word for it. I'm going to play for you a clip of the Obamacare architect explaining how dishonesty and not being transparent is how they were able to even get the thing signed.
It's just, you can't do it politically. You just literally cannot do it. Okay? Transparent financing, unless I have transparent financing, also transparent spending. I mean, this bill was written in a tortured way to make sure CBO did not score the mandate as taxes. If CBO scored the mandate as taxes, the bill dies. Okay, so it's written to do that. In terms of risk-rated subsidies, if you had a law which said healthy people are going to pay in, it made explicit that healthy people pay in and sick people get money, it would not have passed. Okay, just like lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. And basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever. But basically, that was really, really critical to getting the thing to pass.
Okay, you guys recall, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. Obama went around the country campaigning for the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, and it wasn't true. It wasn't true. Now, Republicans tried to warn everybody, like, hey, this is not true. And the media and folks covered for him. But after the fact, people found out once they started losing their doctors and losing their plans. They're like, okay, well, we're going to reward him the lie of the year. They didn't want to be upfront about the mandate. The Supreme Court ended up ruling that it was a tax. But they wanted people to basically pay for being alive. Fine you for being alive and not having health care insurance. It's not like you have to pay fees or whatever if you get a driver's license and you drive, on the road or whatever. It's you being alive and not affording insurance because they wanted everyone to be in the pool. And it's arranged like a pyramid scheme because young, healthy people are paying into the system for the sick people. And of course, these companies were forced to include more people in their plans. And that makes the prices go up, obviously. So everybody doesn't want their prices to skyrocket. So they started doing these subsidies. And now these subsidies have run out, which, by the way, the Democrats are the ones who extended it and set them to expire at this time. So now they're in a pickle because a lot of people's insurance is going to skyrocket. Which, by the way, Obamacare has never been affordable. One of the reasons why Donald Trump won in 2016, maybe a lot of people on this app don't remember this, the prices went up like right before that 2016 election. That helped him. But I recall the narrative, at least from the right, was that Obamacare is meant to fail. It's meant to fail. Because once it fails, people are going to want to have just universal health care. and get rid of like the private market. That was the conspiracy from the right. Nowadays, you have people like AOC and Bernie Sanders are just like, forget about that private healthcare market. We should just, have socialized health medicine or whatever. And they're a lot more transparent now than they used to be. But that was a theory from the right that it's supposed to fail. And here we are, holding up people's SNAP benefits if they don't do the subsidies for these companies.
President Trump put this out because of the fact that the Democrats have gone stone cold crazy. The choice is clear. Initiate the nuclear option, get rid of the filibuster, and make America great again. Enough of the 60 vote stuff, right? President Trump actually posted something on Truth Social. And in the middle of that post, he said, it is now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card. Ultra Magadine Erickson caught this, and he says, Q1201, and on states Trump trap card played. Nice work, Q. Q replies, Trump card coming. Then we're told, at what stage in the game do you play the Trump card? Well, President Trump said it himself. The Trump card is coming, and we are at the stage of the game where he's going to play it. What does he talk about in this post? He says, it just got back from Asia. He met with all these leaders of all these countries, and he lists them. It was a great honor to meet them, but more particularly to see what America is actually respected again. Respected like never before. Great trade deals were made, long-term relationships now exist, and money is pouring into our country because of tariffs and, frankly, the landslide results of the 2024 presidential election. The one question that kept coming up, however, was how did the Democrats shut down the United States of America? Why did the powerful Republicans allow them to do it? Fact is, in flying back, I thought a great deal about that question. Why? Majority Leader John Thune and Speaker of the House Mike Johnson are doing a great job, but the Democrats are crazed lunatics that have lost all the sense of wisdom and reality. It is a sick form of the now legendary Trump derangement syndrome that only comes from losing too much. They want trillions of dollars to be taken from our healthcare system and given to others who are not deserving. People who have come into our country illegally, many from prisons and mental institutions. This will hurt American citizens. And Republicans will not let it happen. This is where he says it. It is time. It is now time for the Republicans to play their, quote, Trump card and go for what is called the nuclear option. You see where he slid this in? Get rid of the filibuster. Get rid of it now. Just a short while ago, the Democrats, while in power, fought for 3 years to do this, but were unable to pull it off because of Senators Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Kirsten Sinema of Arizona. Never have the Democrats fought so hard to do something because they knew the tremendous strength that terminating the filibuster would give them. They want to substantially expand, pack the United States Supreme Court, make Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico states, thereby automatically picking up 4 Senate seats, many House seats, and at least 8 electoral votes, and many other highly destructive things. Well, now we are in power. And if we did what we should be doing, it would immediately end this ridiculous country-destroying shutdown. If the Democrats ever came back into power, which would be made easier for them if the Republicans are not using the great strength and policies made available to us by ending the filibuster, the Democrats will exercise their rights. And it will be done in the first day they take office, regardless of whether or not we do it. In addition to all these other things we get, such as the best judges, the best U.S. attorneys, the best of everything. This was a concept from years ago of then President Barack Hussein Obama and former Majority Leader Harry Reid in order to take advantage of the Republicans. Now, I want to do it in order to take advantage of the Democrats. Big moves on the chessboard there. President Trump retruthed this when FBI fires agents, dismantles corrupt corruption squad after probe unveils monitoring of GOP senators, Patel says. Yeah, they were monitoring the senators, listening to them on their phones. Illegal behavior. This was posted at 13:57 Eastern Standard Time. Q is saying there won't be arrest until the justice system is cleaned out. Wow. You see the comms? We see what the news is telling us, and then we're told behind the scenes there won't be arrest until the justice system is cleaned out. Just want to let y'all know that, because they're not going to tell you all about this on the mainstream media. Speaking of justice system and cleaning things out, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey's top aide caught trafficking 46 plus pounds of cocaine into Massachusetts State Office building. 46 pounds of cocaine. Not 1 pound, not 2 ounces in his pocket. Nope. That's a lot, folks. Packages addressed to Lamar Cook, intercepted with 21 plus kilos of coke, fired instantly, pleaded not guilty, being held without bail. This is who Democrats put in charge of government offices. Wow. Who else is in big trouble? Oh, remember we were talking about this indicted Illinois congressional candidate, Kat, and I'm going to try to say her name, Abugazala. Well, she went on some show with Tara Palmieri. Watch what happens when she gets confronted.
Indictment alleges that you and others, quote, surrounded a federal officer's vehicle, banged on its hood and windows, etched pig on the side, and impeded movement. Did you etch the word pig on the side of an officer's car?
I'm not speaking to the specifics of anything that's in the indictment right now, but like I said, I do plan on pleading not guilty, and the evidence will come out in court, and I plan on winning.
Okay. Well, let's watch the video of what happened that day that they are.
So she shows her the video, for those not paying attention, of her banging on this truck with the protesters, actually participating in that illegal behavior of trying to stop the ICE agents. She's caught on video in the interview.
But when you see that, what do you think right now?
Tara, once again, this is my first time being federally indicted. Like I said, I plan on pleading not guilty. The evidence will come out in court, and I plan on winning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Just really quickly, I did want to ask you about just the fact that, conspiracy to impede an officer is up to 6 years in prison.
Well, Tara doesn't realize she keeps talking and asking questions, but this girl, Kat, left.
That could actually hinder your ability to...
While she's asking questions, she left. Watch this. She's gone. She was there, and then she disappeared. We look over here and we look at November 5th, and supposedly there's a plan where Democrats are preparing to surround the White House with millions of protesters on November 5th. Remind you of something?
Remember the 5th of November.
Oh, a lot of folks are catching on. Folks, I'm feeling so much better now that I've visited Chad and Katie Brewer, and they gave me their Fortify 365 NAD+, a coenzyme found in every cell of your body. I'm telling you, sharper, stronger, and more energized. It fuels my brain function. I can tell. It boosts the energy, supports metabolism, helps my cells repair and regenerate. And I was just overwhelmed when I took this stuff. As we age and we face stress and illness, or addiction, NAD drops those levels, leaving us tired and foggy. Well, glutathione is the body's master antioxidant, so it's combined NAD plus glutathione. It detoxifies the liver and as a result supports the immune system and reduces inflammation and oxidative stress. So together, NAD plus and glutathione are powerful anti-aging combo. You can actually get this in the description box below. Click on the link in the description box, fortify365.com/AUK. Well, during Biden's border crisis, Democrats gave illegal aliens 40% more for food than Americans on SNAP. Now they're using struggling Americans as leverage to demand free health care for illegals. Yeah, America last again. And if you guys didn't catch on, there's this mayoral candidate, Omar Fatah, speaks in a foreign language and waves the flag of Somalia at a rally.
Assalamu alaikum. Somalia. Hiran State. Mawisle. Early voting was hadda illa November 4. I need your vote. I need you. Hadan Udkina, hello. We're going to win.
Wow. Something else, isn't it? And they're the ones out there that are going to do all they can to bring these folks in, continue to commit illegal actions and more. And then even our own country, we've got some folks acting up. 22 million Americans on food stamps have a job. The jobs pay so little that they qualify for food stamps. You're not mad that your taxes pay for food stamps. You're mad that your taxes pay for their employers' starvation wages. Very interesting, because this gets posted on the internet of a young lady complaining about not having enough, even though she was caught buying NFL tickets.
For people who don't know, I'm a nurse, but I'm still on food stamps with my kids. So as a nurse in Arizona, we are still struggling, and we just got the text that it's not coming through.
Miss Ma'am, what is this though? So you admitted that you bought NFL tickets.
Wow. There we go. Didn't you just buy Chargers tickets? Many people who work full time can't afford NFL games. Folks are catching it. It actually admits it. It's on their crying tears. Oh, we don't have enough anymore. We don't have it anymore. Oh, folks, in the meantime, just wanted to show you President Trump flew all over Asia, gets home, and what does he do? He decides to, right after he gets off the plane, not immediately after, but I think a couple hours later, he heads over to the White House. He's like, you know what? Melania, let's go give out some candy to these kids. Now, for you guys that are wondering, on a personal note, I don't celebrate this thing, and I don't want to get into it today. I could do a whole video on it, but there's a lot of people that do, and I don't knock them. Don't get upset. Don't get in their face. Just love on people. They keep doing their thing. It's okay. Here we go. Check this out. That's how they let President Trump and Melania show up at the White House with these kids. Thriller by Michael Jackson. Oh, man, it's always an amazing entrance, isn't it? It's just so cool how they continue to play all this out. And then look at this. You'll notice that somebody actually brings a McDonald's drive-through order here for President Trump. Almost like he's at McDonald's and he's serving. What an amazing idea for something like this, for people to come up. Hey, I got an idea. I'm just going to put McDonald's order here. We're going to visit President Trump since he has such a love for McDonald's. I wanted to show you something else just on a light note here also, that the kids were actually walking up to President Trump and they were asking him for hugs. What else do you see this, folks? What else do you see kids say? Can I just give you a hug, Mr. President? And there's the next one. Can I get a hug too? There's another hug. There's another little side hug. President Trump gives another little side hug, Notice how it's so innocent and so nice that he does it like that, right? Because we've seen the video clips of old Biden, right? And how he handles things like this in such a very, very evil way. I'm glad that that Biden, the original Biden, right? President Trump said he's shot. He's gone. He's not going to be able to commit those crimes anymore. And you look at President Trump, and he's like, here, come over here. Gives a quick little side hug to the children. Hey, good job, buddy. A couple pats on the back. The way that we all actually behave. And so we go into the comms on this. Pretty amazing because the White House says, and President Trump reposted it, right? Got to make sure that his crew gets it right on time. The timestamp has to be just right. But here's a picture of the president, first lady participate in Halloween at the White House. He posted at 5:50 p.m. Well, folks, 1750 military time. They do not want you asking questions. They do not want you thinking for yourself. They do not want you united. They want you to live in fear, divided. They want you asleep. They want you blind. The message must bypass the mainstream media. It is the only way. People united hold the power. Think election 2016. Power shall be returned to the people. And if you look at it even more, 550, take that and go to 55, take the zero out. It says exactly this. My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. The storm is upon us. Just like we played in the intro as a reminder, the storm.
223 illegal aliens have been arrested and taken off of our roads. Of those, 146 of them were drivers. That includes 46 semi-truck drivers and another 82 of them that were either box trucks, buses, moving vans, vehicles such as that. The CDLs that were issued to those individuals were issued from over a dozen different states. Many of those individuals could have been licensed in a state somewhere and received their CDL in another state, but overwhelmingly, these individuals have come from sanctuary states such as California and Illinois and New York. If you are here driving on our streets illegally and our highways, you are endangering our citizens and your days are numbered. I want to thank Secretary Sean.
How about that? They're finally getting these folks off the roads because they're causing too many problems. And you know what? They've got some they're worried about, like maybe there could be terrorists that they let in the country driving these big vehicles. But here we go with Christino.
You know, it's really incredible. What has happened here is that we're really seeing and peeling back the onion on who is allowing these dangerous individuals to get on our roads and get behind 18-wheelers that turn into weapons when they don't know how to use them, they don't know how to operate them, and they can't speak our language or interpret our laws. So many of these sanctuary states are handing out driver's license. In fact, as a part of Midway Blitz, we saw over a dozen different states hand out driver's licenses that then allowed these individuals to go get commercial driver's licenses and go out and get onto our roadways. And we're stopping that. We're starting to vet individuals. We're starting to stop individuals. And when we do enforcement action on their driving records or on their trucks to make sure that they're legal, we're allowing our partnerships with these states, such as Indiana, which is where we're focused today, to do immigration enforcement as well, making sure that those individuals who shouldn't be in our country are brought to justice and they're removed from our country too.
Very good. Get them out. We're tired of it. The damage that's being done to so many families. You know, we talk about it. We see the accidents and how terrible they are. They just get, folks are just sitting in their vehicles and they get rammed from behind and they're gone forever. Those families are suffering right now. We don't get their names. We don't see their funerals. We're just showing wreckage of vehicles. But it could be us. It could be our family members in a vehicle in an 18-wheeler driven by a illegal just completely obliterates our family members. And then, you know, where do we get the support and the help that we need? And so your daily reminder that 160 Democrats voted against deporting illegals caught drunk driving. Democrats want to protect this illegal who murdered an elected Republican county board member and his wife. They don't want the truth to come out. They don't want information moving forward on all of this at all. And so we're going to look at this real quick. I had it queued up yesterday, but check this out.
In 2021, the Special Operations Command under Mark Milley, as chairman of the Joint Chiefs, put out an instruction manual, a vision for 2021 and beyond, that contained instructions and examples on how the military could work with the State Department, Intel Services, and USAID using race riots. Here's examples of some of the instruction manuals here, 1 and 2, in order to destabilize nations.
Here's a declassified CIA guide written in 1983 to train CIA operatives in the field on how to organize riots in foreign countries. And here's a tab on using agitators, including hiring professional criminals to manipulate mass meetings and assemblies of people in person, which can result in general violence. And you will see that they advocate for general violence, where the CIA tells the case officers, our psychological war team must develop in advance a hostile mental attitude among the target groups so that at the given moment, they can turn their anger into violence, demanding the rights taken away by the regime. So make these ethnic minority groups so mad at their government in a general sense that whenever we snap the trigger at the given moment, they will turn that general anger into physical violence against the state that we want to overthrow. But this is a CIA guide on getting teachers, doctors, attorneys, and businessmen in a cluster cell recruited as social crusaders for the CIA-backed cause. And then note what it says. Through a gradual process, these cells, your 10 super teachers with a lot of influence in the teaching realm, your 10 lawyers with a lot of influence in the legal realm, your 10 captains of industry with a lot of influence in business, your 10 medical professionals with a lot of pull over the hospital systems will each work within their own spheres of influence. And at the appropriate time, their influence will be used to fuse the groups together into a united front.
Wow. It's amazing how they're doing all this. And now you understand why the National Guard's been given their orders to be ready by January, right? To look for these cities and for the big riots that are going to occur and more. You know, all of these illegals coming in, all the things that are happening with the, as we share with the Muslim world and more. I'm going to show you something that's going to be disturbing. So maybe some of the children probably shouldn't watch this because we're going to show what these guys do to their wives and their children. While this American girl speaks and talks, and somebody was made this video to basically show you. She's excited because she said, I can't wait. I'm gonna become a Muslim, and it's gonna be so wonderful. While she's talking, they show you the actual footage of how some of these, I wouldn't say all probably because we're not there. I haven't been there, but they're showing video clips of what happens to a lot of these women, how they're treated. Remember, they're already covered up, a lot of them completely, how they're treated.
I think one of my favorite things that I've learned so far as I'm reading the Quran is that technically I'm a Muslim. I don't know why, it makes me so happy. Like, technically I'm a Muslim, lowercase m, because I believe in God and I strive to be a good person. Like, how freaking cool is that? I can't wait to throw so many people for a loop until I'm Muslim. Dude, life is so beautiful. We're all in this together. Much love.
She has no idea. Has no idea what's going on. Breaks your heart. You know, moving forward, President Trump said, we just won the war on climate change, the climate change hoax. Bill Gates has finally admitted that he was completely wrong on the issue. It took courage to do so, and for that we are all grateful. Yeah, Bill Gates. Interesting.
This is COP28, very, very important meeting. The issue of health and climate will be discussed at length. That's never gotten the attention it deserves. The issue of food systems and how with climate change, a lot of farmers aren't able to grow their crops, which is a tragedy for them.
Yep. So this guy, Mr. Climate Change, is all of a sudden admitting that it's not real. Probably because he's the one that was funding all these airplanes to spray all the chemicals on all of our crops and plants across this entire earth to give everyone the thought that, yeah, something really, there's wrong with our, the farmers come out. Yeah, I think climate change is real, right? They'll come out because my crops aren't growing the way they used to. Things aren't working and blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, they manufactured the whole thing so you would agree with them and continue to pour out your taxpayer money and believe in it all. Hoping someday these guys won't get by with what they've done just because they say that all of a sudden it's not real. Speaking of that, there was a show out that really got into these windmills and more, but I'm going to play these clips for you just to help out.
A laser death ray that kills 6,000 birds a year. That is Ivanpah, a solar farm in the Mojave Desert.
Solar farm killing birds.
And the bird apocalypse isn't even the biggest part of this boondoggle. So 15 years ago, Google, NRG Energy, and BrightSource Energy got together for this idea. They would sell solar power to PG&E and California Edison until 2039. But they needed funding. So Bechtel, who's a big government contractor, helped them get a $1.6 billion loan from the Department of Energy. See all those mirrors? Yeah, there's 350,000 of them, and each one is the size of a garage door. They reflect sunlight onto boilers 450 feet high as part of the solar thermal process. The project promised to create 1,000 construction jobs and power 140,000 homes. And that didn't happen. In theory, everyone would benefit, from workers and local communities to politicians pushing green energy. Now, the facility opened in 2014, and it didn't take long to realize that mirrors attract bugs and birds eat bugs, and mirrors themselves get really hot. The reflected rays at Ivanpah literally singed birds to death mid-air, leaving clouds of smoke called streamers. The project was also terrible for desert tortoises and destroyed irreplaceable pristine desert habitat. But the real problem was about power. Ivanpah only operated at half capacity. Apparently, officials hadn't considered things like weather or equipment challenges impacting energy production. Like they should have. NRG said it could take years for Ivanpah to hit its annual energy goals. In the meantime, they'd use natural gas to operate the boilers. So much so that they even needed state approval to increase the gas limit. Turns out the sun didn't shine as much as everyone hoped, and the facility could no longer compete with newer, more efficient technology. Today, Ivanpah employs 61 people, but soon it will be 0. PG&E ended their contract 15 years early, and Ivanpah will close 2 of its 3 units by 2026. For the American taxpayers, it's Solyndra 2.0. So I guess this is good news for the birds. What do you think?
Well, now if you're looking at your screen, a bird is flying right next to these windmills, and he's going to get knocked out. He's going to fly right over, and then down he goes. This happens all the time. What did she say? Oh, they have to be powered by fuel. The very thing that they always tell us about. Just so many lies. Of course, I don't know. Should I play Kamala? She says that the United States should lower the voting age to 16 because of climate. They're using this now for climate anxiety. Let me just play it. You guys can throw up if you want.
I think we should reduce voting age to 16.
Oh, I wonder why. Tell me why.
I'll tell you why.
Come on now.
So,
word salad. Let's go.
Gen Z. They're age about 13 through 27.
Really? Oh, tell us.
They've only known the climate crisis.
Oh, is that's all they know?
They missed substantial parts of their education because of the pandemic.
Oh.
If they're in high school or college, especially in college, it is very likely that whatever they've chosen as their major for study may not result in an affordable wage.
Is that right? Aren't you guys glad she's not running the country? Whoo! Can you imagine? Pretty interesting that they put her in front of us and let her play her word salad stuff, whoever this person is. Good night. Anyway, enough of that. The Senate just passed a bill that permanently ends the absolute insane green new scam restrictions passed under Biden. So there's good news. Alaska is going to be huge in energy production and will benefit all Americans. Speaker Johnson needs to get this up for a vote ASAP when the Schumer shutdown ends. Trump did his part and signed an executive order on this back on his first day of his term. Get that thing moving. And other things that are moving really good. You're going to see a great interview out tomorrow. Gold gains as Fed trims the rates. That's right. Precious metals in oversold territory from Dr. Kirk Elliott. It is absolutely amazing, guys. Here's a clip from tomorrow.
Doing the biggest layoff ever. It's like, even bigger than COVID, even bigger than COVID. Right. Actually, Amazon didn't do too poorly during COVID because nobody wanted to go outside. They couldn't.
Right.
So they were buying stuff online And so anyways, but this is like the biggest layoff that they've seen. They're not companies like that are online retailers don't lay people off before the holiday season, which is going to be right around the corner.
Oh, that's right.
Unless they think it's not going to be a good one. Right. So you look at this. This is why the Fed is having to lower rates, try to stimulate the economy. So gold and silver performed really well to that announcement.
Yep. And we know .com/gold. You can get ahead of it before that interview. And I'm telling you, what a great time to be alive. Do a biblical move like getting your fiat cash into precious metals. Absolutely amazing how he's helping us out with that. So hopefully you guys check that interview out tomorrow. If you guys didn't know, there's somebody named Naomi actually out there from Germany who's claiming asylum. I saw this the other day. I said, you know what? I'm going to play a little bit of this clip, and I put it in the description box below in case you want to reach out to her.
My name is Naomi Seibt, and I am the first European to seek asylum in the United States of America under President Trump's new proposal for a refugee mandate, because I am facing persecution in my home country, Germany, for my political views, for my support for the AfD party, the only opposition party in Germany, and most importantly, for my advocacy for free speech. I have become the target of severe government and intelligence surveillance and harassment. My communications have been intercepted, and my family has been stalked by reporters for the state media for whom we pay taxes. And I continue to receive death threats from Antifa. When I asked the police for help in the past about these death threats, they did not offer me help because physical harm had not occurred yet. President Trump has correctly identified Antifa as a terrorist organization. But meanwhile, the German government silently condone these attacks on their own citizens, as if they are soldiers for their agenda. This year, I helped arrange the viral X live conversation between Elon Musk and AfD leader Alice Weidel, which I'm sure many of you have seen, as it drew international media coverage. While Europe is becoming a breeding ground for tyranny, America still treats the right to free speech as sacred, and thank God for that. In Germany, it is illegal under paragraph 188, which was extended under former Chancellor Angela Merkel, to insult or damage the reputation of a politician. I will not apologize for violating their legal special protection, because in a democracy, politicians must tolerate criticism. The reason why the German government and intelligence gained an interest in me is because I was the very first young English-speaking influencer to openly align with the AfD party, right-of-center political views, and most importantly, I supported President Trump since he came down the golden escalator in 2015 and announced that he was running for president.
So, Representative Anna Polina said she met with her, Naomi, and I tell you what, it's clear due to her support for President Trump that the leftist and her refusal to conform to the leftist ideology, she's been targeted. She could face imprisonment. And so, interesting that she's having a meeting and she's looking for claiming asylum, and that's what it's all about. Pretty interesting, right? Well, if you head on over to California, California's University of California system now requires students through an online test to affirm transgender ideology to stay enrolled under the SHAPE program, refusing to use trans pronouns or objecting to males and women's restrooms is labeled harassment. Fail the quiz and you're blocked from registering. We don't need to go there anyway. Pretty sick what's happening in those universities. You know, they import many of these illegals that cause a lot of problems on the campus too. And so somebody actually, a Muslim woman, was actually telling everyone, she came over here and she said she's starting to see the same Muslim leaders that she left in Egypt. They're now here in America.
I came here expecting that I left the bad guys behind. But unfortunately, what I found here is that the bad guys are already here. And they include many of the people I knew from 15 years ago or 20 years ago when I was a student, an undergraduate student. Now they are leading the protests that are happening all over the country. I know they are members of the Muslim Brotherhood, although many of them deny that they are. They even organize the protests in the same manner that they were doing back then, 15 and 20 years ago, the same way of mobilization, the same flags, the same narrative, even the same dependence on Al Jazeera footage and the news stories.
Interesting, huh? It's like they've been planning this for a long time, getting it all set up. You know, that's why they got Obama in there. Of course, Bush had a lot to do with this too. All the transitions were made. The training was done. Bring them into America after all the training's done, and then pull out the same stops that you guys did over there. She's noticing. She said, you know, the United States embodies all the important values that I've been fighting for all my life, including human rights, women's rights, and democratization. I don't want to see this going away under it by any means. She wants to come up with an offensive strategy that can help us make this happen before it's too late. Interesting, right? All of this going on, and we're reminded from True Stormy Joe, stage is being set, right? Deep state indictments are stacking up. Trump 8 peace deals in 8 months. Trump trade deals fast and furious. Market has an all-time high. Nuke missile testing, U.S. and Russia. Scare necessary event. No Q521. We are fighting for life. We're fighting for good. We're at war. Not everything will be clean. Scare necessary event. Do you trust the U.S. military? Do you trust the chain of command? Have faith. We are in control. Patriots, Patriots Day, have faith. You were chosen for a reason. Yeah. And one more bit of information. Stephen Miller actually posted the Borealis lights, 2:40 p.m. Posted that picture of a green Aurora Borealis, Northern Lights. So this was posted at 2:40, right? And it goes back to 1440 military time, where we see the 4 booms, a week to remember, dark to light, blackout necessary. This could possibly be green for go we have been waiting for. Buckle up. This could be a week to remember. We're going from dark to light, and a blackout is necessary. Pretty amazing. Continue to stay in prayer with all that's going on, folks. Definitely. Great time to be alive.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, once again, we are in awe of what you do in and through so many leaders throughout this earth, how you've set this up for such a time as this to go against Satan, who's in his little season now, trying to do what he can to destroy everything. But we know you've got the perfect plan, that all of this will come to an end soon, and you've allowed us to witness the destruction of the old guard, and thank you for that. We also come before your throne, asking for continued protection over all of those that are in training, that are in the front lines, the military, the politicians that are standing up for the truth. Thank you that we're seeing and noticing so many more of these that have come against us that seem to be gone now. And we're watching a complete shift of so many minds that have been brainwashed for so long. We're grateful for that also. We ask that you continue to help us read and learn from the Word of God, the truth that's in there for all of us to grow each and every day. We bring this before your throne in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen and amen. Folks, thank you so much for your just your prayers and your support. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. And again, consider getting on that cruise with us. We'd really love to see you there. March 15th through the 22nd. Go into amweknow.com. Check it out, folks. We'd love to have you. For now, this is LT Semper Fi with And We Know, signing out.
Revengeth. The Lord revengeth and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind, and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet.
Bloody amazing.
Like the proletarian, tolerates conditions because he has nothing with which to compare his way of life. Efficiency, even military efficiency, is no longer needed. Nothing is efficient except the thought police.
The swine, the filthy swine.
Big brother.
If the shutdown lasts over 41 days, Trump can make permanent, all the cuts he wanted to make with Doge. And the Democrats can't do anything about it.
what that card is?
You guys know what this represents?
What all of it?
Henry's the calm before the storm.
What's the storming?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm is
We have the world's great military people in this room, I will tell you that. And we're going to have a great evening. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.